Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. My name is David Matney with Nebraska Realty, and I'm really excited about our guest tonight. I've got someone in the business someone who has been in the business for 24 years, who's a team leader down in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, for those that you don't know, Lincoln is the capital of the state of Nebraska, and I'll just show us here a little map, kind of give you show you where we're talking about here. So we got Omaha right here, and then southwest of us, about 50 miles, is Lincoln, Nebraska. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring our guest on board, and it's Bob Wayne with Nebraska Realty. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, David.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me on tonight.
Well, thanks for joining us. I wanted to bring you on board because there's a lot of folks that are relocating to Lincoln and want to know more about it and more about the market. And you know how every market is local. I wanted to bring on a local agent from the Lincoln market, and you do a ton of production, and you have a team of 5 people, and you've been doing this in a long time. But hey, I don't want to take away your introduction, but if you don't mind introducing yourself, let us know a little bit about you.
Sure thing. Well, I'm Bob Wayne, like David said. I have the Bob Wayne Realty Group at Nebraska Realty. It was actually just founded in July of 2025. So I'm new with Nebraska Realty. I had spent 23 years of my career with a smaller local company. And I decided that I wanted to have a team. And in order to do that, I couldn't do that where I was previously at. They just didn't allow that team model. So I decided to make the jump and been at Nebraska Realty, and it's been the greatest move that I could even imagine making. So
it is a great place. I started out with a smaller brokerage, and they just don't have the tools and resources and the bandwidth to do the things that they allow us to do here, and the tools and things that are all the things that we have available to us. It's pretty remarkable, and it just allows us to serve our clients at a much higher level. So, and how long have you been in the business again?
I got my real estate license in September of 2002. So I just
all right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long
over half of my life. So I'm 40. Over half of my life selling or helping people in real estate. So
wow, that is a long time. And we got some folks in the chat, so we got to say some hi to some great folks. We have Fred is in the house. All right, Fred, it's good seeing you. All right, and then MH0862. All right, I was over at Jen's. All right, so Jen Sylvester is a friend of mine as well. Hey, and we got this guy. Sam Matney is in the house. All right. And I wonder if he's related to me. That is my son.
Me.
All right.
Oh, really? Oh,
all right. And Mr. Bud Thompson is in the house. All right. Great. All right. Excellent. All right. And then, hey, and you got another guest to our side there.
This is Kobe. My
all right, well, Kobe's really helping our viewership. All right. We already got a question. MH8 says between the two, Omaha for me, an hour closer to Chicago and off I-29. So okay.
Yeah.
And then Sam says, "Is this the Super Bowl?"
You paid him to say that,
right? All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. MH08 says, and Lincoln is the butt of the jokes of Colorado.
I could believe that. Going back to football, we did not get along with Colorado fans very well.
That is absolutely true. But
we should be the butt of the jokes at this point. Our team is so miserable.
I know. But and next year's going to be really rough.
Oh man, we'll see. Whatever. I don't get too involved in it because
that could be yes. All right, and we have James in the house. All right, terrific. All right, excellent. All right, well, everybody. Okay. Oh, and it's MH08. The 6'2", that's YouTube's new tracker ID. So it's MH08. So all right. Well, Bob, let me ask you this. You've been doing this for a long time, half your life, okay? If you could travel back in time and talk to yourself when you first got licensed. Because we got a lot of agents that watch the channel. Okay. What's the one piece of advice you would give to a new agent or give to yourself if you had to start all over?
Okay, that's a great question. I would truly understand the value of relationships and what one single relationship can really mean and do for you, and you can do for them. It's not all about what they can do for us, but what we can do for others. And one person that you help and treat right can turn into 25, 30 or more different transactions throughout your career, especially if you're in it for 30, 40, 50 years. So
Right.
my point with that is treating people the right way and playing the long game always.
Yeah, we actually had someone in the chat last week who was my very first client. And it was a for sale by owner.
Same with mine.
Yeah. and he came into the chat, and he was an investor, and I had Paul Vacheski on last week, and I was talking. Yep. And we was talking investing and that sort of thing. And it was fun to see Andy come on the stream and everything. So, but yeah, that I think is really great advice as far as the value of relationships and that sort of thing. In terms of now you're just started a team back in last year. What's, with the team concept, what's the one piece of advice you would say to someone starting a team?
Okay. I would say be prepared to lead by example. And what I mean by that is, so I'm at a place in my career where I don't really need to be doing open houses every Sunday. I don't need to be, calling everybody and like meeting with people on one-on-ones as much. I'm kind of in a more established place where 90% of my business is referral, but I want to be in the trenches with them. And what I found is it's made me a better agent, and it's fired me up even more. And so now I have this like renewed passion of doing it with my teammates. And so it's just really cool.
That's awesome.
It's just been a lot of fun to get back to the basics. And we know there's like 5 sets of basics that are like sales 101. And if you do those things well, you will be successful.
Amen.
So
that is
things with them.
No, that is 100% on that. It's all about just basic blocking and tackling and doing the basics at a high level, and sometimes sometimes things are simple. They're just not easy.
I've been saying that a lot. It's so simple. It's just not easy. It really
exactly. Now let's talk about the Lincoln market. What do you see happening right now in the Lincoln market?
I feel like after January 1, it's really picked up quite a bit. I think it's a healthy, balanced market. It's not like it was 5 years ago where you put a sign in the yard and you're getting 10 offers, over asking price. But I do think, you have to be a little more aware of your pricing for buyers. Like you can actually get a pretty decent house for that $250 price point, and you're not competing against a lot of, multiple offers and stuff like that. So I think it's balanced. I think it's healthy. I think it's where I like to see it, honestly.
Right. I mean, it's nice to see where buyers can do home inspections.
Right.
And then not have to, make 7 offers before on the 8th offer they get accepted that they had to forego an inspection. Yeah. And they really didn't get their top choice. They got their 8th choice. Right. So and that was craziness. And, you've been doing this 24 years. So you remember back in the day of the Great Recession and that market. And I mean, I used to work a lot of expireds back in that market because 25% of our homes would expire. So I remember, calling expireds.
Absolutely. Back in 2008, 9, I would have 20 listings at a time.
Yeah, it was like
6 months, 8 months, 10. It didn't seem weird. Where now, if it hasn't sold in 30 days, you're kind of hitting that panic button,
Oh yeah. I mean, you'd be all that in a bag of chips if you sold a home in 30 days.
Oh yeah.
Back then it was like, whoa, that'd be advertising, Today,
no.
I mean, if a home didn't, if your home didn't sell in 30, I had sellers that were like, if it didn't sell within 3 hours,
right. They were disappointed.
Yeah, it's like,
That's one of those things. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, type of thing.
Exactly. All right. And then said, Fred says basic blocking and tackling. Perhaps you could explain that to our staff in Lincoln.
Okay.
I might have to put my hat
I'd love
back.
to. I would love to.
Okay. And then MH08 says 5 years ago, you didn't even need to put a sign in the yard. People would just knock on the door. Yeah. I mean, that was, it was an insanely unhealthy market. And, you know, the buyers are still out there. It's just that so many of them have been sidelined.
Yep.
And then I think with rates coming down where they're at now, you're starting to see some of those buyers come off the sideline.
Yeah, I would agree. I do.
And I'm starting to see in our market to where I'm starting to get the client that, you know, for a long time, the last 3 years, it was life events. You know, somebody passing away, you know, a life event market. But now I'm finally starting to see move up buyers come back into the play. And I think that is a great sign for the market. So
it really is. I mean, that's my, you know, any realtor's, you know, ideal client is a move up buyer / seller. But I think seeing those is a very positive sign for sure.
Right. Yeah. No. And you know, what would you say would be, and I apologize. Sometimes I get to chatting and everything.
Okay.
What about what's that one piece of advice you would give to a seller in this market?
I would say that your house really needs to be buttoned up and look nice. You can't have a bunch of like loose ends. Like pricing is very, very, very important as well. Right now in this market, you have to be priced accurately and priced right. Otherwise, you're just not going to get showings. You're not going to get activity. So
right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for a buyer, what about for a buyer going into the spring market?
You know, buyers, I would say that they are actually in a really good spot. They can actually get a house for a pretty reasonable price. They can get their inspections done. They might be able to get a rate buy down or a discount point, or not have to sign away their firstborn child to get a house these days. You know, just things like that. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got Clark is in the house. Hey, Clark the realtor. Clark's out of Atlanta. And so Clark's one of my moderators. Clark, thanks for coming on board. And let's see here. And then if somebody wanted to reach out to you, if someone's going to the relocating to the Lincoln market, there's Bob's number to reach out to him directly.
Yeah.
And you also have a website. Let me bring that up for you.
Yeah, I was telling David it's being revamped in 2 days. My new team site is going to be out, which is BobWayneRealtyGroup.com. But for now, that would take you to a site that wasn't live yet. So this is the best.
Okay. No, the website is always a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I wanted to share that with folks as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And then now what about, when folks relocate to Lincoln, what do you think is the biggest or the most common mistake what do you think is the biggest mistake people have when they relocate to Lincoln?
I think not understanding the areas, not understanding the market. Lincoln is unique because we have little pockets of different styles of homes, different neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I think just really not maybe diving in and understanding the different areas as much as they could. Another thing that I feel like the mistake they can make is not hiring the right agent to help them, honestly. And so that might sound self-serving to me, but it's true, because the wrong agent can make the experience not very pleasant, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think it's important. And I don't think a lot of people, there's a lot of agents that cross over. I'm not one of those agents that cross over into another market, just because I think you have to know that local market, even though Lincoln is only, I'm licensed in the state of Nebraska, just like Bob. Yep. But even though you're licensed in the entire state, every market behaves differently. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to bring Bob on board, is just talk about, because I do get some folks that reach out that have questions about Lincoln, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, I don't work that market, and then I want to have a good referral partner.
Here I am.
So exactly. So, I want to make sure that people understand that how different the market is. Even though it's only 50 miles away, it is a completely different universe. What would you say would be some mistakes that, Omaha agents that do cross? Because there's always folks that like, hey, the pie has gotten smaller and the number of transactions have gotten smaller. So people get, want to cross over. What do you think would be the mistake that you see agents make who, that are not local agents that come into Lincoln and help folks?
I would say a few things. Again, not understanding the market, like we just talked about. Really, maybe not trying to get to know the agents that they're going to be working with very well. It's almost sometimes they come in a little adversarial, kind of. Is the vibe that I get, and I just understand it because, like, we're all professionals. We have the same goal, and sometimes I feel like, some of them, and I've worked with a lot of agents that have been great. But some of them can kind of come in with a little bit of an attitude, and I don't understand. Like, you're coming to our market, and I wouldn't want to be like just very polite and kind, and get to know me, and like what's a good goal, what's important to the seller. Like, instead, it's just I've noticed there's a little bit of a tension maybe for some. Most of the time, I would say 90%. It's been lovely, amazing. I've worked with a lot of awesome Omaha realtors, and so I would say overall, there's not a problem at all. But I have noticed that a little bit. So
okay, this is a really good question. Sam says, Bob, what are some of the differences between the rental market in Lincoln versus Omaha?
It's a great question. Lincoln obviously is a college town. Omaha is too. I think they're pretty similar. I know a lot of investors that have rental properties in Lincoln and Omaha. I think they both are really great investment places. I think your money is going to go pretty far in either location, either area. I think you get a little more house for your money in Omaha versus Lincoln. So I think that the overall, like a $200,000, $300,000 house in Lincoln is probably going to be not quite as nice as a $300,000 house in Omaha.
Gotcha.
What I've noticed, or 4 or 5, or like even in the 600,000 range, I think you get more house for the money there than here, in my opinion.
Okay, gotcha. Now, for folks relocating, what do you think of the top 3 pros of living in Lincoln?
Okay. I think the pace and the speed in which we do life is really pleasant here. I think it's just, like I said, it's a small college town. Everybody's pretty chill. We all strive to want to get along, and your neighbor has a problem, they're going to rally around them to help. So I think that's a really nice thing. I will say a con is the drivers in Lincoln. I think in Nebraska, a general are terrible across the board, but it's the driving is just absolute, and the streets. The street infrastructure, I think there's potholes, and just they'll close 5 out of the 6 main streets all at one time, and it's like, what are you doing here? Like, and so those are some of the frustrations, but those are like major first world problems, But overall, I think Lincoln is a wonderful place. I've been here for almost 30 years now. Wow. I was raised only 30 miles west and from Seward, Nebraska. Okay. I'm a Nebraska boy through and through. So.
All right. That's awesome. Yeah. I just think, I think now what are the biggest misconceptions that someone relocating to Lincoln has? What do you see like some of the things where sometimes I hear some stuff where it's like, oh, no, that's not, that's not.
I got some good examples. So my beautiful fiance, Rebecca, she lives in Omaha. And the perception I hear from her is that the perception that Omaha people have of Lincoln, oh, stinking Lincoln, there's nothing to do, like it's just kind of a crappy hick town. But she actually has found that it's the exact opposite of what you would think. And the people are genuine, authentic. The pace is good, like I said. And there's just a lot of good quality restaurants, like a lot of new infrastructure. So there's just a lot of cool things to do, in my opinion. So.
Well, and that what's that place down in downtown Abe's?
Honest Abe's, yep. Yeah,
that is a great burger. Yeah,
there's actually 2 locations. There's a southeast location too.
Okay.
Right now as well. So that whole rail yard area down there is really cool. That you're by the stadium and all that. So
it is really, and it is, it. I don't remember, and that, there's a lot of one-way streets down there in
so, cul-de-sacs too. We're like the kings of cul-de-sacs around here.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the rail yard district that has really, just in the past, it's really cool and stuff like that. And I think what's the place? My wife loves the wings. She's gonna.
Buffalo Wild Wings or
no, it's
that's a franchise.
No, it's Sam should help me out if he's still in the chat. Where my wife likes to get with my wife is not a wings person.
Okay.
What is that place called? There's Muchachos. Everybody loves.
You'll have to tell me because I don't. That one I might not be able to answer.
I'm pretty good at eating, you can tell, but
I can eat a lot myself. So.
All right. Now you do a lot of new construction too.
I do.
Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit because what do you think is the biggest what advice would you give for someone who's looking to perhaps build a home?
That's a wonderful question. I've been talking about this a lot lately, and there's two things in my opinion that are hands down the most important thing that you need to figure out before you decide if building is for you or not. And that is number one, what is your real budget? Like what can you afford, and not just the house with the plans and everything. I need you to be able to understand the landscaping, the fence, the appliances, the window coverings and treatments, and all the extra things. You could spend $50,000 after the house is built, and that completely blows your whole budget up right there. If you're if you're not planning for those things in advance. Number one. Number two, the lot. Where you want to be. Is it a walkout? Is it a daylight? What are the covenants? What is the area require as far as the different things that they'll allow and not? So those two things, hands down, number one, are non-negotiables. You got to figure those out quick. So
yeah, and talk a little bit more about the lot in terms of what advice would you give someone picking out the lot? What are some mistakes that you see people when they make that lot selection?
Okay.
What are they not looking past, or what are they not thinking about?
What is going to go in the neighborhood? Like, is there going to be a school? What's behind you? Is it a walkout? Is it daylight? Is it flat? Is it a corner lot? Corner lots, they have a lot of side yard, but small backyards. If you have a walkout, you're going to be a lot of times looking down right at your neighbor. And if you have a flat lot that backs to a walkout, you're going to be looking up at your neighbor who's the walkout. So lack of privacy in those situations. So there's so many factors. Like, my recommendation is get out. Imagine the house that's going to be built there. Look around you, see how it will fit on that lot. And there's just so many factors that you have to consider. And most people are not visual, so it's really hard. So get a good architect or drafter to show you how that house will fit on that lot. Number one is another point.
Now, just so because a lot of the viewers coming into the Midwest are not even aware of basements.
True.
So let's take a step back and just explain to folks, what a walkout is and what's a daylight lot is, so people are aware of that. Because we got a lot of folks that when we talk about basements, they're like, they don't even have a basement.
You're right. Absolutely. That's a good point. So on slab, obviously there's no basement. So a flat lot would be on slab, but it has a basement. So usually a living space that mirrors the above grade space. So on a ranch style house, say your house is 1,800 square feet, most basements then below are another 1,400 square feet. You might have a couple more bedrooms, a bathroom, a rec room, living room. So a flat lot has egress windows usually, where like little escapes that you go out and up to make those legal bedrooms. A daylight is going to have windows exposed above the ground level so that you can see actually daylight. And then a walkout, you're going to have those windows again, but you're going to have a sliding glass door that's going to walk you directly out onto a patio. So you'll be able to exit the house via the walkout. Again, the square footages and all that stuff, the living space is all down there, but those are the three types of basements. So flat, walkout, and daylight. So
And you said, you touched on this earlier, and I thought you made an excellent point about how what people's true budget is, because when they're doing a walkout basement is going to have a deck, and that deck is going to be add another $20,000.
Yep. Just the stairs off the deck. That's not a given. Not all decks have stairs, and it's like you got a dog. You're gonna want to walk your dog all the way around to go. So stairs, that's $5,000 right there. Stairs off a deck is $5,000.
Is that right? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, people don't think about that. I mean,
the windows, the extra windows, the door, the extra concrete with the patio. All those things are going to be.
It all adds up. And you touched on this earlier, and I thought you made an excellent point in terms of lot selection and covenants. And that is, some covenants are going to require, extra stone in front of the house.
Absolutely.
And those are going to be expenses that you don't even see.
I'll give
you see them, yeah, but it's like
you
catches you off guard.
I'll give you an example. Some covenants require stone on the foundation walls. So if you have a walkout, a lot of times they'll just paint those, but some covenants say you can't just paint that. You have to have stone on those. So you're going to even more. And I learned that lesson the hard way myself. When I built the house that I'm in, I have a walkout. I didn't catch that in the covenants. And they said, you have to have stone. So my stone budget like doubled, because there's much stone on the side of my house is on the front of the house. And that totally blew my budget. So these are all things that I've learned from experience too. So
yeah, I mean, some things you learn the hard way, and that's why it pays to have, for someone, coming into a market and coming into a location to review those items and and to read that stuff over, because eventually you will read it, but you don't want to read it after it's like, well, okay, hey, I'm required to do this, and you wasn't even budgeting. And I think the fence thing is a big deal, because so many folks have pets. Fences are expensive to put in.
I'll get a couple more examples. Is the type of siding. Some require hardy versus no vinyl, and then the pitch of the roof. Some are 8-12 pitch, meaning the pitch of the roof has to be 8 foot by 12 foot. And so it's the angle. And so all those things can make the price of the house go up, up, up. And people just, the type of shingle, like some have to have impact resistant shingles and stuff like that. So it's just like you could spend an extra $100,000 just on those things we just talked about. And the house might look exactly the same as the one in a different neighborhood. So
yeah, I work with a lot of out of town buyers, and they're caught off guard with our insurance.
Oh man. Yep.
And, on the resale side, you mentioned impact resistant shingles. Okay. The hail, I mean, you guys get it 20 minutes before we do. The hailstorm that's coming up through the Southwest. I mean, it's coming from your direction, but that catches folks off guard is the amount that they pay in insurance, and then the property taxes.
The property, yes. I'm glad I hate to even think about it, but yeah, our property taxes are extremely high. But when you talk about resale, though, we do have a really good school system, which I didn't mention. So all those things considered, Lincoln again is a great place. I think it's voted like top 5 places to live in the United States on some like health magazines. I've seen different metrics that way. So overall, I mean, yes, it can be expensive, but I also think it can be a really lovely place. So,
right. And I'm one of those people from Omaha that west of Lincoln is western Nebraska.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I do. That's where I'm from, so
no, that is really good advice. I'm trying to think. The other thing too is, there's a lot of folks that the tornadoes are a big concern, and the weather is a big concern. And you touched on this earlier, is why our streets are so bad is because we have such a variance in weather.
Yep.
And then the road construction, and people have a hard time zipper merging and things like that. I mean, I hear a lot of people, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Zipper merging, that's funny you say that too, because there's a lot of Nebraskans that don't even know what that is. They need to learn.
I didn't know.
You didn't? Oh my God.
Until about 5 years ago, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's because somebody was complaining about it.
on to chat GPT and figure that out, because that would make our traffic so much better.
and people got to be aware of game day. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what about folks that when they're how do you explain the Huskers to folks that are not used to?
I just got to shake my head, because I just say that, we were good back in the day. We had our glory days. We are no longer good. We're probably never going to be good again. So I've just accepted that fact. And I think everybody else should too. So it makes your life so much less stressful when you're not so bought into what they're doing. I mean, they're a bunch of 18 to 21-year-old kids, give them a break.
But there's so much meaning behind it.
There is. I know.
I mean, the state really takes so much of the state identity is tied to that.
It is. And when I graduated high school in '97, that was our last national championship year, So, I mean, I was watching them when they were just the greatest. I mean, I'd go to the games and we'd beat teams by 60 points every week. And then we'd play Miami or Florida State and they'd beat us.
Yeah.
So, but no, I
remember in the 80s where if we didn't win, I mean, it was like, okay, by the second quarter, we'd be up by 21 or 28, and then the second string was in, and I was like, well, why aren't we hanging? It's probably isn't good sportsmanship, but I mean, I'm like, hey, why aren't we hanging 80 points on people? Why are we putting brakes on at 50? You know what I mean? But I hear you. And then, if you won 9 games back in those days, if we won 9 games, it was like, well, we had Oh, it's like, the season's over, the season's over.
They won 10 or 11 games that one year.
Right. Yeah. And then, I'm still one of those folks that complain about that. I mean, that I'm still upset about that. So.
Yeah. Who knows what would have happened, but here we are, right? I digress.
Yep. All right. We got, Sam says roundabouts too. Sam says roundabouts too. So we got, and then let's see. MH08 says, really, you're not being polite.
Right. Exactly. You're almost that. It's almost like a bad thing if you're actually trying to be polite, because people don't understand it. They're like, the zipper merge, they think you're like trying to cheat or cut. No, we're just doing how we're supposed to.
I mean, people are polite. I mean, I think that's what people don't realize, that is very common in Nebraska. People are there's the Nebraska nice thing.
They are.
They
are.
But we will. We're Nebraska nice until it involves Husker football. Then we will argue with one another.
Right. Absolutely. Or when you try to zipper merge, and then they're not.
And then folks are, it's like on the. I have a lot of folks that are concerned about the tornado thing, and I'm like, well, you'll get used to it. That's just, it'll be a normal, and it'll change. The weather is going to wait 24 hours and it'll change. And then MH08 says, even worse is the Minnesota merge.
Oh, I don't know about this one.
I don't know what.
I might have to Google that.
Let's do it. You might have to, MH08, you might have to explain that to us, what the Minnesota merge is. So I don't know what that is. All right. What about we've covered a lot of ground tonight.
Yeah. Hey, David, real quick, the Minnesota merge is a popular name for the zipper merge. So
is that right? Okay.
The same thing. So.
Okay, let's see. MH08 says they stop at the bottom of the
It's even better yet.
I would think the Colorado merge would be when they cut you off.
Don't throw oranges at you.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else that you can think of on the you mentioned Chelsea. She's been on the program before with insurance, and she's a great resource to have on the program for NR insurance.
Yeah.
Anything else, advice that you would give for folks in terms of because that's a big bugaboo with insurance.
Yeah.
Anything that you see on the insurance side that people need to be aware of?
Just understanding your policy. A lot of policies are excluding roofs right now, depending on the age. They're excluding soft metals and gutters from policies completely right now.
Okay, I didn't. That's new. That's a new one. I've learned something there.
Deductibles are really changing. So there's a lot of things, and it's not all companies, and they're not all created equal. So make sure you're doing your research again.
And that's a really important point, is because it's like they're not all insurance companies are created equal, and it's something you want to start early in the process and not just dismiss, because I think that catches people off guard when it's actual cash value versus replacement coverage. Well, let's talk about what about sewer lines. Do you guys have much issue with tree roots and sewer lines in Lincoln?
Absolutely. The neighborhoods, the country club, the different neighborhoods with the mature trees, those tree roots grow into the sewer lines, and a busted sewer line, if they have to dig it can be $10,000-$15,000.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's not adding any value to your house.
Nope.
If you get that done, if you discover that after you close a year later, you have to do the repair, right?
Right.
It's usually pretty invasive, and it's not adding any value to your house because you can't see it, and everybody expects their toilets to flush. So
right, and it's not like, oh, honey, come out and look at our new sewer line.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that is something. That MH08 says with zipper, their bottom of the entrance ramp with the finger, and then funny. I'm waiting for a call back from a plumber right now for a clean out. Okay, yeah. That's something that we're seeing a lot of, and what's nice about, like you mentioned earlier, about buying a home now versus 4 years ago, when people weren't getting inspections.
Yep.
It's a totally different market now, because people are getting, and here's the deal with any house, the home is the perfect home doesn't exist.
Right.
And even when you do an inspection, the inspection is going to decrease your risk. It's not going to eliminate it completely. Right. There's always going to be some element of risk, and there's going to be something they can't see through walls and things like that. So you got to make your best judgment on that. But I think there's a lot of folks, I don't know if you see this or not, but I think a lot of folks don't. You touched on this earlier, not budgeting for maintenance, and how much an older home takes more in maintenance. And
absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
It all adds up.
All right. Where's the growth happening in Lincoln? That's a good question. All right. I'm going to bring the map up. So I don't know if people can see Lincoln here, but where would you say, for in Omaha, it's usually tends to be the west and southwest, towards Gretna,
And Lincoln, it's every direction, north, south, east, west. Is
that right?
Absolutely. It's growing. I would say it's growing equally fast in every direction. I just heard that a DR or one
DR
of your
Horton, is it Lennar?
They're starting a new development in West Lincoln right now.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting. I live in Southeast Lincoln, and it's just expanding all the way to the city limits right now, and like I said, in every direction. So it's quite uncanny how fast they're going up and how far. So it's pretty interesting.
And I can see now where it used to be, 20 years ago, Gretna was way out in the sticks,
right?
And Vala's was out. Vala's pumpkin patch was a farm,
right?
And now it's almost a subdivision.
Yeah, it's almost connected right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And MH8 says, I remember when I-80 ran through the country north of town. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's okay. Sam says, does Celebrity Homes operate in Lincoln?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not yet, maybe. Who knows? But DR Horton's coming on board with you guys down, and they just came on board with us a few years back.
Yep.
and they're buying up ground like crazy, and they're going adding much need. And that's one of the beauties that I think that we're very fortunate in the fact that the Lincoln market and the Omaha market have a very I can't speak for Lincoln. You can speak for Lincoln, but I know the Omaha market is a very robust new construction market, and that added inventory. I have a friend, Jackie Baker, up in New Jersey, and the prices there's no new construction. So her prices out there are just through the roof because there's no new construction. I think what's nice about our markets is that we have new construction. So I think that's a good thing there. Well, let's see here. I'm going to bring up your website here. And now next week, let me share this here. Okay, all right. Good question, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I ran through all our notes. I ran through all our notes. If there's no other questions in the chat, Bob, I mean, anything else you want to add or anything else you can think of that had a real good turnout tonight? We have more, must be more folks from Lincoln tuning into this because we got a higher. I can see the number of viewers watching and stuff, so we have a higher view count than normal. So it's like you draw a crowd.
Hey, that's amazing. We'll have to do this again.
All right. Anything else that you want to add, or anything else that? Wait a minute. One more question here. MH Waite says best pizza in Lincoln. That'll be.
Ooh, that's tough. So the same owner of Honest Abe's has a pizza place. I'm blanking on the name of it all of a sudden. Lazzari's.
Okay.
Lazzari's pizza is really good. I'm totally spacing on the name right now.
That's okay. I'll text you afterwards to find out.
Vic's Pizza.
Okay, and it's the same owner.
Same owner of Honest Abe's.
Man,
VICS. It's actually very, very good. But then, like I said, Lazzari's is a longtime favorite too for a lot of people. So
excellent. Okay, and then Sam says, be sure to like the video. Oh, and then we have. Oh, this is going to be a fun question. What are the trees smaller in Omaha compared to the Midwest?
Maybe why? Why are they?
Why are the trees smaller?
Younger? Maybe they're younger.
And it could be called all the new construction.
Yeah, less mature, probably.
Yeah, and then because you go down to Bellevue, those trees are nice and big.
Yeah.
There's actually a tree in Fontenelle Forest that
I was just gonna say, go to Fontenelle Forest.
Yeah, they have the Constitution tree, which is in the 1700s. Okay, yeah. Why? Okay. Oh, MH08. It knows the answer. Less moisture. I'll be darned. Okay, I'll be darned. That's yeah. All right, cool. Well, Bob, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to let you go because I know you're on a time crunch, and I just appreciate your time this evening and covering everything that we had. And then also, if somebody wants to reach out, they can reach out directly, or they can tune into your website there. All right, and that's me. That's fine. But I really enjoyed this evening, and thank you so much. And MHOA says I'm always amazed how tall the trees are when I go back to the Midwest. Okay, excellent. All right, but Bob, thank you so much for stopping in this evening and being such a great guest and helping us with some of these things, with Lincoln and all. So I just appreciate it. And then you're a real pro at
Thank you. I just appreciate you asking, and you, like I said, you want to get a list of questions and do it again. I would absolutely do
absolutely it. Yeah, no, and we have some great folks in the chat and everything. Now, cool. I'll let you go, but Bob, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
awesome.
Thanks, David. All right,
all
see
right, you betcha. Bye. All right, everybody. Well, I tell you what. Next week I am going to be. We won't be live next week. Okay. I'm going to be out of town for a day. I'm going to the Housing Wire Summit down in Dallas. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'll be able to geek out over a bunch of numbers and all that sort of thing in terms of the national housing market. So I'm pretty excited about that. But the week after that, we'll be in we'll be back on stage here. And again, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out, and I'll share my number on there. Feel free to text me or anything like that if you have any questions or need any help, or if you have any, I have a network of agents from across the country. So if you ever need help with, finding an agent in another market, I can assist you with that. So just had a client who was from California relocating to Omaha, and a buddy of mine, Joe Pareca, out in Claremont, California, is able to help out my client get his home sold so he can buy a home in Omaha. So I want to make sure that folks are aware of that. But I really appreciate everybody stopping in. And again, it's always fun, and we'll be back, and we will take it from there. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.